Hi Roosters members and supporters. I thought it would be good to provide you with some detail around the recent changes to the concessions provided to the AFL clubs playing in the SANFL, and in particular how they will affect our club. We've heard your frustrations and concerns, so let's unpack a few of those key areas. So why do we need these concessions? Well, to ensure the SANFL competition remains relevant with regards to having a 10-team competition where both AFL clubs are competitive, as well as our competition continuing to be a viable pathway for our talented junior players heading into the AFL system. So how do these changes affect the North Adelaide football clubs with regards to player availability? So firstly, there's a talent development area, 19 to 21-year-old players. These players, if they agree, can be approached by an AFL club, but only one per club can be taken from North Adelaide and any other SANFL club, and a total of 6 from the state. It's highly unlikely that our club would lose more than 1 and a maximum 2 players in any year. Let's give you an example. A 19-year-old that doesn't get drafted but still has that desire to play AFL and is probably not going to be selected in our club's league side in that coming season, or at least would be down the list due to development issues. That player could be targeted by the AFL clubs, and if it's that player's desire, we would loan the player to the club for 1 year and our club would receive $2,500. The young player trains and plays in the SANFL as part of the AFL team's reserve side and develops within that environment. And hopefully for the player, they get drafted, but if not, they'll come back to North Adelaide, a better equipped player and more likely to be part of our club's league program in the following year with that increased development. It needs to be made very clear that it's likely these players are not in our club's 1 to 30 list, so not really going to play league that year, as I said. Other players in that age range may already be playing league or close to it and are contracted, so they would not be available to select. So the clear message to our supporters is we would not lose any young players that we thought would be beneficial to our program in the coming season. Okay, let's talk about open age players, or players aged 22 and above. A rule applies that only 1 per club can be taken by the AFL clubs and a max of 4 can be on their list, and that includes interstate players. Contracted players are excluded, which rules out basically all players on our list from about 1 to 30. If a player does choose to hold off on being contracted, well then they could be targeted by an AFL club if it's their wish to be transferred out of a club environment. Normal transfer fees would apply to as we would transferring a player from another club to our club. So to be really clear, it's highly unlikely that a required North Adelaide Football Club player would be in this position. And we've told our players, and it's been justified by recent AFL mid-season drafts, that the AFL dream can still come about playing for North Adelaide and enjoying the benefits of playing for a club and enjoying the culture and the program that only a club like ours can provide. Also playing in the positions that suit your game style without the worry of playing out of position due to AFL players coming back through this competition. The AFL clubs also have limited salary caps to entice these players across, which if wanted, we could match them quite easily, and they would only be able to fit 3 or 4 of these types of players under that cap. So a big question is, will these changes make the 2 clubs so strong that they'll end up winning every week? So history tells us that when AFL clubs have 15 to 16 players available from their list, they are competitive, so nothing's really changed there. These new rules stipulate that a minimum of 3 19 to 21-year-old players must be in these teams at all times. So the players that will miss out on selection would be those aged 22 and above, which are the bigger bodied players. Only once last season did an AFL club have that many listed players available. So it's usually between 10 to 13, and many of these are young first or second year draftees. Our competition will be better with competitive teams from all clubs, which keeps us as the best state league competition. 10 good teams is what will make our league stand out from the other state leagues. So what are the benefits to the North Adelaide Football Club and the competition by having the AFL clubs playing? We need to be a relevant Tier 2 competition. Currently, we're the best competition outside of the AFL, and recent state games against the VFL and the WAFL are examples of that. This is what might happen if we did nothing. If the AFL SANFL teams left our competition, maybe to an AFL reserves competition, ours would diminish across the areas of players and the skills of those players. The recruitment of good players from interstate might dry up. We wouldn't be able to entice players across to play in our competition because there'd be another competition as good as ours playing in the AFL reserves. Transfer fees would not be available for players leaving, so we basically would lose control. Sponsorship deals would diminish. Our league may not get telecast. Channel 7 may opt to go to the AFL reserves. Yes, we can stream games, which is great. However, viewing from free-to-air channels is significantly higher than streaming platforms. Funding through the AFL via the SANFL for junior development, women's coaching could dry up. And the worst case scenario is our club staff could be made redundant because our clubs are operating on smaller budgets and our competition is just not the standard that it used to be. So members and supporters, what can you do? Well, the first thing is to support the club, and that can be by purchasing a membership, whether that's a 10 home game package, a 3 game package. These will all be out from November the 1st. And the other thing is attending games. There is word that people don't come to Port or Crows games when we play at Prospect Oval. Now this is detrimental to our club's income. It's also players love to play in front of games with packed crowds. So please don't be that person who stays away for these games, as we need you here. It's a great environment and we need all our supporters to come to all of our games, especially when we do play at home, but also when we play away. Thanks for watching, and look, let's stick together as one club and get back to playing finals in 2025. Go Roosters!